Hey, it's Keith Townsend from the CTOadvisor.com. So you've made the decision, or the decision has been made, that you're going to migrate your private data center to the public cloud. And you've done your homework. You understand that this is a massively complex migration. You have to decide if you're going to re-platform some applications or if you're just going to move virtual machines over to AWS or Azure. As you're making decisions on what workloads to migrate, when to migrate those workloads, your data center is consistently growing. And you have to make a decision of when you're going to cut off the investment in your private data center. You can be running traditional infrastructure such as HPE, converged infrastructure, Dell EMC's VX Block platform, or Pure, or even NetApp's converged infrastructure. And these are major investments. If you make that investment too early or too late in your journey, then you'll end up with depreciable assets that go a couple of years without being used or stuck into a long-term lease. What's your options? So this is where a solution that I kind of shrugged my shoulders at when it was announced a few years ago, and that was VMware's AWS service, VMC on AWS. Renting vSphere inside of AWS seems like a really old-fashioned way to consume cloud. But if you combine that solution with another solution they offer, which is HCIX, it takes your existing network and extends that existing network into the VMC on AWS solution. How does that solve this capacity problem? Well, instead of buying more capacity on-prem and you extend your data center into AWS's or Azure's cloud, you can operate your data center and your virtual machine infrastructure as you always have as you make this transition from a fairly static infrastructure to this cloud native environment. You can gradually move workloads from the VMC on AWS infrastructure into your VPC, re-platform those applications, or you can continue to manage those applications as you see fit. It solves this capacity problem without making a major CapEx or even long-term OpEx investment into your private data center. What's the drawbacks? Well, obviously, this isn't magic. You can't defeat the speed of light. If applications need to be side by side, physically, from a latency perspective, then they need to be side by side. Some workarounds to that is that you can move specific landscapes such as SAP, Test, Dev, etc. off of your private data center into Azure or AWS to free up capacity, or you can just put net new workloads into these services. Options other than VMware Cloud on AWS. Well, from a compute, storage, and network perspective, the only real alternative that I've seen on the market, or at least announced, was Nutanix's AWS service, which is not yet production, and they don't have this cool network virtual machine management piece yet. I'm sure that they'll come up with an alternative. If you've seen other solutions on the market, reach out to me. I'm at CTOadvisor on Twitter, and you can find us on the web, thectoadvisor.com. Talk to you next, CTO Dose.